Okay, welcome to Spoiler Corner. Philip Seymour Hoffman is a good guy, and the revolution has begun, and Katniss has no home.
And Pete has been captured.
Yes, they're gonna get him back from Jabba the Hutt.
Actually, this is the Empire Strikes Back.
I made that joke in the bum reviews too. I think, again, the twists and turns in this are what keep this movie from being a complete retread and a waste of time and a bore and stuff like that, is because it's constantly building up. This revolution is coming, and it's actually happening without you even knowing it. And that's so clever. And a lot of these characters...
she's kept in the dark.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get to. She is kept in the dark.
She only sees bits and pieces.
And we're kind of kept in the dark, too. And you could argue, in most movies, they would do that just to have a twist. Just to, oh, but you didn't see that one coming. But they show so clearly that she is not good at keeping a secret, or that it's like when everybody's watching you that she will break and she will show the mercy and she'll act differently and stuff like that, that it made sense for them not to tell her. And that's why I think this film works so good, is that the twist at the end is 100% justified. That the Hunger Games, that Philip Seymour Hoffman is doing this all to get them out and to start the revolution, and it's totally justified.
Well, I mean, remember, this
smart.
is a tyrannical regime being run by crazy Donald Sutherland. He has to be able to do this under Donald Sutherland's nose. There's just no way she could know.
Yeah,
because of his Donald Sutherland and not Seneca. What's his name? I'm blanking. There's Seneca.
I never know the name.
I don't know. I'm blanking on Philip Seymour Hoffman's character's name now, the new game maker. But he knows that Snow has this relationship with Katniss, that he'll talk to her and that he's trying to feel her out and watching her like a hawk.
And he uses that
uses that distraction to his advantage, and he also knows that's why I can't tell Katniss, because if he's watching her that closely and picks up on anything...
It's a brilliant play, because this whole movie is about distractions and the distraction of celebrity and stuff, and he distracts the president because his eye is on Katniss as well. He distracts him with another distraction.
It's a chess game, and that's why... As much as I didn't like the second book because it's a retread, I love the strategy of it. And that's why when it entered the Hunger Games, I was the least interested, because I'm like, there is strategy involved, but at the same time, it's very much who can I trust, this and that, figure out the clock. But it was that whole first half that I loved.
And there are clues. There's stuff like people are trying, a lot of the tributes know they're just trying to protect Katniss, and you catch on to it too, but you don't know why or what it's building up to.
And it's done much faster for my taste in the movie than the book, which I'm okay with. It's a very tightly adapted screenplay, which I appreciate. I mean, it is long, but the book was very complicated too, so I thought they managed to really trim it to just what you needed to give you a nice, tight narrative that works.
And I had a feeling watching, I'm not going to say I knew, but I had a feeling that Philip Seymour Hoffman was a good guy, mostly by his introduction to her. I was sort of like, okay, well, a lot of this could be taken as a double, meaning, or that he's on the good guy side. But I still wasn't 100%. And I think this whole movie sort of has that feeling like you're not entirely sure what's going on or how it's going. You just know something is up.
Which is is always a good sign of sequels or in a trilogy, where you have to get through that tricky area. It's like, that was what I like about, the Two Towers, Godfather Part 2, Empire Strikes Back. It's like, who do you trust? We're kind of on the run. I don't know what's going on. It's upping the tension until you can get to the finale.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I'm trying to think what else in terms of... Those were just the strongest elements to me. It was sort of
the Mockingjays were...
Yeah.
What a great scene. That was
a great idea.
That was the only thing in the book, in the Hunger Games part, that I really, really enjoyed, and I was like, now that's twisted. That is fucked up. It's like, let's have your families, screaming for help and driving you insane. And
no, that's one of those months I was watching that, I'm like...
Yeah, what a well-shot scene, too.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, man, what a just it's genuinely creepy. It's just
the
a creepy
baboon
idea.
monkeys, that was in the book. That was silly in the book. And that's the weird thing about the book. There are some things that are like really clever in the book when it comes to the games, and some things I'm like, really? The Chimera dogs or whatever at the end of the first book, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, and it's the same thing with the monkeys. Like, am I reading the same book?
And
like,
even in the game, like, you see this fog coming and they have to run away from it. And again, what I like is that I'm saying, like, how the hell are they gonna get out of this one? I have no idea. And then when you see it hits some sort of wall and it stops, and you're just wondering, like, what is that? And then it's revealed, and it's even if you know the answer is gonna come a little later, you know, or shortly, you're gladly questioning it. You're questioning it knowing
I don't know why, I'm just glad they're alive.
Yeah, no, you know what it is? You're gladly questioning it because you're assured that you're in good hands. And I like one man movie where it's like, I suddenly stop critiquing it, and I say, you know what, I'm in good hands. I'm just gonna let this take it wherever it takes me. And I know that there's something up, but I'm not gonna be the smart ass and try to figure it out. I'm just gonna enjoy it. And I like when a movie can do that.
Well, and I say, you know, I think the disadvantage... Here's the interesting thing, and I'll say this about the book. Disadvantage about both the book and the movie when it comes to the Hunger Game portions is the fact that we did it before. When I really think hard about which I like better, if you were to throw both at me simultaneously, I would go with part 2. Part 2's, in terms of both the books and the movie, I would go with that second round of Hunger Games as more interesting. Except for Rue. Rue was the one thing in the first one that you really had an attachment for, and that was brilliant, you know. And the ending with Peeta was good, but as an overall games, there's much better strategy, there's more interesting things going on, there's a lot more interesting stuff going on in the second round of Hunger Games and Catching Fire. But we did it already, so I feel bad for punishing it, but you can't get around that fact of been there, done that. And had that version actually been the only version, I'd probably say I love it.
You know,
but because it's redundant, you know, even though it's done better, I'm still like, ugh.
There's one other thing I'll bring up here. I should have brought in the regular review, but I'll say here, is that, you know, the death of Rue in the first one, it's effective. It gets the job done. I felt it so much more in this one. I think they had this ingenious idea that the technology of either you take a picture, it's sort of like Harry Potter, where you take a picture or you film it and they're just standing there, you know.
Well, no, what I love about it is what it reminds me of is those football snapshots of your quarterback, your linebackers, when they do the stats, like, no, let's see who's playing today, like, and they bring up, and it's one of those like pictures where they're kind of still and just looking at and it is creepy.
Yeah, and they totally use the uncomfortableness, because that is uncomfortable when you see it during football games, and they totally use that to make it look like she's there staring at Katniss, and it is so powerful, and the family is right there, you know, is supposed to be looking, you know, proud, like, yeah, well, it's all part of the good cause, and when she just sees Rue there and Katniss, and I like, too, that actually Peeta breaks there. She's not the one to break it, he's the one to break it first. And it is so effective just seeing her stare at Katniss, even though it's just a picture, anything, just that painful reminder that she's gone, but it looks like she's right there. It's so effective.
And this is the difference. I hate picking on the other director, because I don't think he did a good... he did not do a good... I mean, there are really awful movies and awful directors, and this guy's nowhere even close to that. He did an okay job.
It's a very difficult film to bring to the big screen.
And he did have a very... it's a big disadvantage of it's a very tough film to bring to the big screen.
Especially for a young audience and a PG-13 rating.
But this is the difference between an okay director and a great director, because... he milked the scene he didn't even have. Like, he's just milking the after effects of it, and it's more powerful than what the other director gave us, which was a good scene. I can't even look at it. It was like, oh, you botched that scene.
Yeah, no,
Rue's scene was good. It was effective, but it was serviceable.
Oh, in this one, it's just like, when you see her just looking at Kat, just looking at the picture of her just standing there, it's just like, oh, and then the family, it's just like, oh my God, and it's not quite overkill. It's just the right balance.
The guy who directed the first one, you know, he's still got a lot ahead of him, and I hope he looks at it as like, no, I did an okay job, and this was a learning experience, and I can go up from here. But I don't even know who directed this one. Like, I
don't know who directed either.
I was so fascinated.
Now I want to look it up.
Yeah, but whoever got this one just he just nailed it. Like, and I don't know, whether it's talent or just, or luck, but
both had a disadvantage going in that the first director had to bring something very challenging and very difficult to the big screen and keep a PG-13 rating and still keep it emotional while still keeping it brutal. Yeah. This one had to follow that with pretty much the exact same story and do it again and show something that probably a lot of people don't want to see because of that. They don't want to see the same thing again. And I think he had the harder task, and I think he really overcame it and made something great.
Let's be honest here. This director also had a couple advantages of he was also saddled with a better script. The first script was not god-awful, but it managed to both add things which were really needed and good, which I believe Suzanne Collins even added some things that helped, giving you behind the scenes of the games, but it also left certain things out, and it was kind of like, this script was just so much tighter. I just didn't feel like there was any filler. It's just like, no, we're gonna boom, 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 boom. And even for like 2.5 hours, even though I felt like, no, this
was
is
that really how long it was?
Yeah.
I didn't even feel it.
I did feel it, but in the good way of like, this is long, but I'll be damned if I'm not staying until the end.
I thought it was at the most 2 hours.
I'm totally pretty sure it was closer to 2.5.
Well, but bottom line is, even if you do feel the length, you're glad to be in it that long. It's like watching Return of the King. Hey, well, except for the ending. It's like, I know it's long, but you know what? I'm into it. I'm just into it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the spoilers. So I will say this, that final shot, because she has to react to so much in that final shot, like most of the movie, and she goes through like 8 different emotions of just like, I'm on a ship, I've been knocked out, I'm free, Pete has been captured, now I'm a leader of a revolution, and then it just slowly goes into this like, I'm gonna fuck you up phase of like, it goes through all these things of just like grief, despair, confusion, to finally just like, vengeance. And it's so perfectly done.
The last thing I'll say, just from a marketing standpoint, is that it ends on the image of, I guess with every image of the bird, it gets a little closer out of the circle, and this one, but that's just like the logo, whatever, that you have either on the poster or the book or something like that. This ends with the bird holding the arrow, and it's just after you see the image, your home is destroyed, she looks angry, it cuts that logo and you see it just break free and go like this in the fire, and it's just like, nothing can get you more hyped. It was so brilliantly done. I've never seen better marketing for the next film that so grabs your emotion at that scene. It's just like, you are not going to miss that shit.
It's totally a phoenix rising from the ashes. It's almost like, didn't X-Men 2 do that, or was that 3?
What, you see the phoenix in the water?
Yeah, Phoenix,
it
Jean
never comes through,
Jean Grey looking like at the camera or something. I feel like that shot was done in one of the X-Men.
And not that there, you see a little bit of the phoenix in the water, but of course that mounted to shit.
This was kind of similar, but awesome.
Yeah, I think this was really like effective. Like shit's going down.
You know what's making me laugh though is we're talking about the cult of celebrity and the marketing and how it can be used for evil, and what
this is used for good.
I guess, but I'm like, really, we are being just as fucking manipulated at the end of this movie. Like, there's an irony here in this.
Oh no, there is a great, but being entertainers, it's like there's always pros and cons to this too. It's like, there's this great con of the deception, and that you have to it is manipulating.
Well,
entertainment is an illusion.
Being entertainers, that's why I appreciate the evil in this movie so much, because I'm just like, that's totally what I would do. Like, that's awesome. And even on the good guy side, where it's like, oh, the dress, oh, I'm pregnant, like, we're having a baby. I'm like, all of these things are just like, as an entertainer, I'm like, yes, ratings. Well, viewers, blip viewers.
It's a strategy of it too, but what I like about what I think this film, or at least the good guys, tried to do, and I would hope we try to do too, is that we try to sort of play that illusion, we play the entertainment game and stuff, but try to get so it amounts to something good. I'd even argue a lot of politicians do that too. But it's how long do you play the game, and how long do you actually become the game and become part of the problem?
But see, in my opinion, I think that ending scene, as amazing as it is becoming part of the game, because their goal, really, the studio's goal could care less about how good the story is, and really the director, while he wants to tell a really good story, that's only part of it. He has to serve the studio. So what is the goal? Get asses in the seats for the next movie.
But how do you do it? You do it through telling a good story that people want to see. So it is a balance.
You do, so it's a balance act. But that last part, I'm just like, yeah, this is funny, because that was all about branding, advertising, the moment, building excitement, teaser, getting you back. And I was like, these are all things we're decrying in the Hunger Games as like, oh man, these people are so twisted.
But they are used for good.
I guess.
So, or at least a good story. So that's
Great
about
movie.
it. Like I said, go see it, man.